How many people out there do you know who are collecting and investing in Magic the Gathering sealed product? It's not as many as it used to be, and the opportunities are not for the faint of heart. Good things come to those who wait. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today as we get into the investment side of Magic the Gathering. Now, I'll be talking about sealed product today, but it also works well when you're doing the single side. We'll talk a little bit about that toward the end of the video because there are a few differences. Now, when we're talking about sealed product, there are lots of ways you can go about accumulating sealed product. You can look for deals and sales. You can wait till a store is fire selling something that hasn't sold well. But I'll be honest, those aren't always the products you want. Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean that's the one to buy. And just because something's more pricey doesn't mean you should shy away from it. We'll get into that. When you look at a store and you're looking at a product that is ending its life cycle, it's now out of print. That doesn't mean it's actually out of print. It just means Wizards isn't making any more waves. Depending on how well that product was received, it could be sitting at the distribution level in some warehouse somewhere, or at the store level in their back stock room. It can take sometimes years or decades to flush those out of the system, depending on how well the product was received. We can still see Dragon Maze in certain stores. It's been 8-9 years. You can still find Great Gatecrash sometimes. Fallen Empires took 20 years before it finally started to filter out of the system. 20 years. Depending on the popularity of a product. And lately, Wizards has been real hit or miss. But the good news is you don't have to buy those products. You can check the inventory, see if it's sitting at a store. And if it's sitting at that store, pardon me guys, if it's sitting at that store, and you see they got 10 or something, it's been a couple of years, let it keep sitting there. Those are not the droids that you're looking for. Let the store, let the LGS carry those products for you. Those are the ones that are going to be there for a very long time. And after 6-7 years, if they're still there and the price isn't too high, it hasn't changed much, maybe then you buy one. Because the store has carried that forward for you. The dead money won't be as dead as it was before. Even things like Gatecrash and Dragon's Maze will slowly go up in value. It will happen. Just like it did for Fallen Empires. It just takes a longer amount of time. And if you're letting the store carry those costs for you, it doesn't hurt your bottom line as bad to get a product like that. Now, when you're looking at products coming up, you're looking for ones that have a short life cycle. You're looking at interruptions in production. Doesn't this sound a lot like 2020? 2021? This last couple of years has given us a great selection of things that will be short print run, had difficulties, and maybe not well received because of the world environment around. Going to show you a couple today. Let's take a look at number one so we can get a little understanding of what we're talking about. So here we have Modern Horizons 2. Right now, locally, this thing's on sale, and it's $289.95 Canadian. Of course, this is still in print, but the waves will be getting much smaller now. The restocks will be getting smaller. And the LGSs are not going to tie up churn and burn capital, keeping these things massively in stock. So things will be slowing down for this product. Now, when you're first looking at a product like this, you want to see what are the good cards, what are the bad cards. Because at first, it's going to matter. As the age of a product goes along, it matters less and less. So here we got Ragavan. That's like a $100 card Canadian. Then you got cards like Endurance. You got Solitude. So you got some good stuff going on. We also have the fetch lands. That's right, fetch lands are in this set, and you can get anywhere from 2 to 3 in a box. Collector boxes could have as much as 5, right? But when we're looking at that price point, you've only got to hit a few of these cards to do okay on the EV. Which means going forward, this is going to have good memories for people. People are going to look at Modern Horizons 2 and they're going to enjoy it. They're going to say, that was a good box. Now, the downside is this was massively opened, and it killed. It just smashed fetch land prices, making them very affordable for people. That is not such a bad thing. Although you might say, well, the fetch lands aren't worth that much right now. Wizards is less likely to reprint fetch lands anytime soon until those values have recuperated. They want them to be at the $40, $50 level. Seeing things like a Misty Rainforest for like $30, and you can go ahead and say, hey, I can get a Marsh Flats for $18. You see what I'm saying? Those are really low prices. Wizards wants those things to recuperate. And when you're looking at products like this and how Wizards of the Coast has been reprinting products, they are spacing these things out because they can't put enough into a set that they feel comfortable, right? They don't want to lose money on a product. So these will actually go up in value nicely. They will hold their value going forward, and they will have good nostalgia for people. But you are talking $300 a box. It is not exactly a cheap product to go in and dive into and say, I'm going to buy 4 cases and tie up $4,000 or $5,000. That is not for everyone. And there are less people who seem to be buying sealed boxes. And when you know a store will churn and burn through boxes quickly, just to keep the money flow going, they're not keeping hordes of this stuff anymore. In some cases, they barely keep a case because they got to move on to the next product. Keep that stuff in mind. If you're one of those people who has the liquidity, the strength, the fortitude to hold on to boxes like this for 7 to 10 years, you can look at the history and see these things have done very well for people. And Modern Horizons 2 is one that I plan on buying around Christmas time, especially if I'm going to be skipping on some of the newer products that aren't coming up to my expectations this year, right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our number 2 here. And not number 2 in any order, but Commander Legends. The original, the OG, first time. It's out of print, okay? We don't have this anymore. Locally, this is $149.95 Canadian. Now, when you look, I'm just going to tell you right now, the rare slot is kind of weak. I think we got Jeskai's Will, which is like a $15 to $17 card, but that's about it. You need to hit one of these big 3 to make this actually a worthwhile box. Most of the other cards within this set are not that great value-wise. They have great utility cards. They're a lot of fun, but we don't know how often Wizards will reprint these cards yet. It could be years between printings, so some of these cards that are $1 or $2 could end up being $5 to $10 cards over the years as more Commander decks are built and as the dwindling supply of singles gets filtered out, forcing the price of the boxes to go up. All right, so when we're talking about Commander Legends, it has a lot going for it. It may not look like the best box in terms of the EV value inside right now, but I think that will turn around going forward, and it's still at a fairly affordable price. Remember that. If you hit one of those cards in there, you're doing very well. You've already chopped down that price. And as the years go by and more of these boxes filter out, you will come out ahead. I have personally already purchased more of this and held on to it for future stuff for my patrons and for myself for investment purposes. I can't help myself. It's a good product. I had good memories opening it. The etched foils were like new to me at the time. I was new to getting into Commander. I still am. And it's one of those things that spurred me on and said, you know what? This is going to be a lot of fun. And that product will hold well for a lot of people. There are a lot of new players who jumped in around this time, and they're going to say, this was a product I remember. Everyone has their first product, the product that brought them into Magic and really made them love the game. For some of us, it's Ice Age and Alliances, Fallen Empires even. For other people, it's going to be Odyssey, but going forward, everyone has a box. Could be Cons. You don't know. Could be Innistrad. And right now, it's somebody's Commander. This is somebody's new box that they'd never played before and they loved it. So somebody's going to want to buy that box 10 years from now and say, I want to relive that. Even if it's a $500 box, that's what I want to get into. And that's where investment can come in for you. You have to be willing to accept that any of these boxes can go to zero. They could be worthless cardboard that you just get to enjoy and play with for the rest of your life. But they also could have a flip side of making you a lot of money. And remember, if you ever want to sell something quickly, always look at what the sold prices are. Not what somebody's listed at. What they sold for. Let's just say it's 10 years from now, and let's say these boxes are $500 and you need liquid cash. You're not going to sell for $500. You're going to sell for $250, $300. You're just going to double your money and get out quickly. That's what you have to do sometimes. You'll still make money. You just won't make as much, but you got your liquidity out faster than everyone else because you're willing to take the hit. That's part of investing, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at our next box today. All right. Now, I know, still in print, Innistrad Crimson Vow, but look at this box. Locally, it's on sale here in Canada for $109.95. So it's around the $122, $123 a box, okay? It is still in print, but it has a fairly decent mana base. We have a few cards like Chandra, Necroduality, Cultivator Colossus that will find homes in other decks. When you see Hollowed Haunting, and you look at that box and you say, you know what? That's going to be home with, decks that are going to use enchantments, right? You're going to find a home for that with things like Serra Sanctum. These cards are being designed to fit into multiple formats now, and they may seem weak, They may seem kind of meh, but a lot of these sets get forgotten. That's what we've been seeing lately. As Wizards pumps up the value, this is not going to get multiple print runs. It's not going to come around again. It's going to be sitting there for years doing absolutely nothing. And because it's not going to get a third and fourth major big print runs, it's going to get maybe a few smaller waves depending on what the stores are asking for. And I know they're not asking for any right now because it's on sale and they want to clear it out to move on to the next product. That is the opportunity sometimes people are looking for. But at the same time, it is a cheaper product, so it actually takes less time for it to accumulate some value. 109 today could be 150 a year and a half from now. And then it could be 209, which means you're already doubling your value within the first 5 years. It can happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could happen depending on how these cards find homes in other formats going forward and how well the box was received and how many print runs it gets. Interesting stuff, because I think products like that are going to get forgotten. Midnight Hunt, it's going to be done. Crimson Vow, going to forget. It's going to be forgotten, sorry. And we're going to have people looking for those vampire decks, looking for those cards to build into Commander and other formats going up. It's going to be awesome. I mean, you can't miss that stuff. And the last one I want to show you guys today. We're taking a look here. Look at Call Time. When you look at this as a collector box, it's $259.95 Canadian. When I look at this and compare it against other collector boxes, maybe even more pricier ones like the upcoming Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, this is like 100 and change less per box. It's already out of print. I got some good pathways that are harder to get because there's only 4 of them. You got Vorinclex, you got the Goldspan Dragon. We've got decent cards with decent value. And it's a collector box, okay? This is going to have future value. It's going to go up. The question is how quickly and how much, but nobody knows that. When you look at this and see you've got Tybalt and stuff in there as well, the extra cards around that $5, $7, $8 level, I'm telling you, there's a lot of opportunity out there. But it's that desire to want to tie up capital that can mess with a lot of people, and that's why it's only for the few. There's many people who think about collecting, who want to invest and hold on to product for the future, maybe just to do a box opening later. But for those who are hoping to invest and flip these products and making more money, or hold on to it for future drafts with friends and family years down the road when you remember a great product, guys, it's not going to be for everyone, but there is a lot of value in these sets already. They are being built differently. Even a low-end card that's not great can still go up in value if it's a decent card that has a home. If it has a home and people want it and they desire it, and things run dry, that's when prices start to shift and go up, making your boxes more expensive. As more boxes get opened, the ones that are left sealed start going up even faster in value because there's just less available. Supply, demand, the market as it is a free market, that's what will determine the value. You can't be sure what's going to go up, but you can be sure that there will be value there for someone, as long as you can hold on longer than everybody else. It's a collectible trading card game that a lot of people want to get into, and when we know there's less people buying sealed product, I myself have skipped many sealed products this year. I didn't buy extra Call Time. I didn't buy extra Strixhaven. I skipped a lot of stuff this year to focus on reserve list cards myself. Cards I think will have better future value going forward for myself and how I like to enjoy the game. Which means, again, that's 4 or 5 cases of cards that I may have not bought this year. There may be people like you out there who did the exact same thing. It's fascinating stuff. So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in today. Just a little, oh wait, before we go, don't leave yet. What am I talking about? We're at the end and I forgot. Singles. Singles. I said I would cover singles at the end. You think I almost forgot, didn't you? I almost did. When it comes to the single market, people were asking me in a few emails about how much should you buy and invest. If you're not talking reserve list and you're talking modern cards, I kind of go with the rule of 4 and 4. 4 for yourself and 4 to flip. Because they do reprint, but the reprints are coming slower. If you want to get a set of Vorinclex and you say, how much is Vorinclex going to be? He probably will drift up. He probably won't get a reprint quick enough. He's awesome, that monstrous raider. So maybe you get an extra 4 for $120, and those are the ones you're going to flip because he could become a Kozilek type card. He could hit the $50, $60, $70 level, and you can double and triple into your money. But I wouldn't go beyond that because you still have to unload the product. And remember, if you're unloading quickly for a single, you got to be willing to take the hit. There's going to be transaction fees. You got to use your local LGS. You got to use a TCG type platform. It's going to be up to you. but you got to build those things into your equation. So you don't want to get caught with a massive amount of cards you can't move or could get reprinted by an oopsie, unless you're willing to take that hit and wait again. But what I've noticed lately with all of these type of reprints is when it's a monstrous raider type card, when it's a mythic that has good playability, good value to it, does some funky cool stuff that people want, like a Cultivator Colossus, those cards are not going to end up in standard boxes going forward. They end up in specialty products, double, triple flip masters at a premium price, and there will be less of them out there. So none of these cards seem to go down like they used to. They don't rotate down to the $5 card anymore. It just doesn't happen. They always stay around the $20, $30 mark, depending on what the value of the card was, of course, when it began. But a Cultivator may actually even go higher because as we go forward, those seem to be the original bling collectible cards now. Everyone doesn't care about the fancy art frames unless it's an original printing of the card. And that's where people seem to be going. At least I am for myself and the people I talk to. So that's how I would handle my singles. I would take the singles and say, buy 4 for yourself because you need it for decks and stuff, or maybe you want to keep a few for commander decks, and then you can buy an extra 4 for investing. You don't want to go too deep in case those cards do get a weird kind of flip around and you lose money on it. That's just the way I look at it, guys. All right, so thanks a lot for tuning in. I look forward to seeing your comments in the comments section. Thanks for giving this video a thumbs up, and welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel. Awesome seeing everyone out there. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. To all my wonderful Patreon supporters, you guys are rocking it, man. I can't wait to see you guys on the live stream for the giveaway this weekend, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. You guys remember how scary this guy was? 8 casting cost, 8/8 with Annihilator 2, and it's colorless. Scary stuff when this will come at you. Hey guys, welcome to the end of the video. We're going to put the Ulamog Crusher right into an amazing 10K box, because you never know what's going to happen with that 10K box when we finally get there. But remember this, cards like the Crusher there, he's probably never getting reprinted because it has Annihilator, and Wizards is not bringing Annihilator back around again. They don't like things that just eliminate things from the battlefield. There's lots of ways of sneaking those big bad boys onto the battle, right? So I don't think we'll be seeing Annihilator again, so those are probably pseudo reserve list. Funny stuff, man. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. You made it to the end of the video, the investment side of things. There are a lot less people investing in Magic, I gotta be honest. It's happening a lot less. But I find it fascinating because some of the die-hard collectors I knew have switched to buying certain singles, and many have flipped right into reserve list investing. Even low-end reserve list, they're just buying a lot of it. I'll have a video later in the week about that, okay? Guys, have an awesome time today. I'll see you soon.